Hello and welcome to Block Tornado, and today we're gonna talk about fake YouTube UFO videos and how to tell whether software is responsible for such a video. As you know, the topic of UFOs is a very gray area and it's pretty much blurred because of many videos out there are just not authentic, and it's very difficult to tell even if the video is authentic. I will try to explain a little bit about what kind of software is responsible for this problem, and maybe you can identify a problem and before you start thinking that the footage is actually authentic. So a lot of this software, especially it's been used in movies, as you know, and it goes all the way back to more mainstream movies such as Jurassic Park. Software such as soft image was used in that movie, and technology has changed quite drastically up until now, and I think they renamed soft image to XSI. However, you can see the sort of graphics capability the software can do, and the fake UFO footage that we see, it's basically just simple background with a light in the sky, and it doesn't take much work to recreate something like that and make it believable. And for the reasons why, because a lot of people are seeking, more YouTube on videos, and at the same time, try to challenge themselves if they can actually trick the public eye, and that's why we see a lot of fake YouTube videos, which in actuality is hurting the whole hunt for UFO truth, and it's very difficult to tell the truth in this kind of area of UFOs, because for that very reason, this kind of technology has been around for a long time, that's available for anybody to use, and such as Maya or 3D Studio Max, XSI, or Blender, which is a free software, 3D animation software, and tracking softwares as well. So basically, whenever there's a footage of UFO, keep in mind if you see anything irregular, anything unusual in the footage, such as something doesn't line up properly with the CGI or the actual UFO, that can tell you that the footage is fake, because a lot of that tracking software that's been used to track the footage is not necessarily done well, and sometimes it will skip a frame or two in a few frames, more than enough to tell you that something is wrong, something is off. And as soon as you notice something is off, you can assume they probably use some kind of tracking software or 3D animation software. So basically how tracking software works is, usually the person who's making a video try to create such a fake video will try to find a suitable footage, which has to be something that doesn't have much shaking inside. Okay, so because the actual tracking software needs to lock onto something, so if the footage has some sudden shake in it, then there might be a problem when it comes to tracking that particular frame. It won't be able to track it if it's too shaky. So a lot of footage out there they might be using, it might be something that's most stable, doesn't shake too much, and it's clear, because tracking software needs some bright, clear points inside the video in order to lock onto the target. So it's not a good idea to use a footage like pitch black sky or anything that is very dark, because the software cannot track it properly, and that's what usually happens like that with tracking software. And that's why you might see in the video sometimes the footage doesn't align properly and something seems like it's off, and that's most likely because of the bad job with the tracking software they're using. And they need the tracking software first before they put in the CGI graphics. So something to keep in mind again, if you see any kind of footage that it doesn't track properly, it's possible that it's fake. And that's what's it all about, especially at Block Tornado here in this channel, I like to talk about, real footage. I'm interested in, not the fake one, and I see a lot of videos out there that are fake. And again, you're back to square one when it comes to understanding extraterrestrials and so forth. And again, sometimes it's very difficult to tell if the footage is actually fake, even though it might be true. Sometimes you just can't tell, regardless if it's true or not, even though it might be. So that's something to keep in mind as far as technology goes. And as I talk about in one of my videos, I talk about Bob Lazar, something to do with props being used inside S4 that might fool Bob Lazar to think those UFOs are real. And as you know, a lot of this kind of fakery is going on in the world of UFOs. There's many reasons why I believe that actually what Bob Lazar saw, which he really saw, but what he saw was actually fake, okay? So it might have been some kind of props that perhaps, or even some kind of experiments that S4 was working on. They wanted to create their own UFOs, and I will leave a link below. You can see for yourself in one of those videos how they tried to replicate the UFO. But that's been a long time ago, and who knows what kind of progress have they made up until now. And again, another point about being fake things that are going surrounding UFO topics, like again, going back to Bob Lazar. That's why I explain in Bob Lazar Decoded video that you might want to watch. If you stick around all the way to the end, you'll see I'll point out a little bit about what makes it fake, and that kind of gives you the clue, which you'll probably be convinced that the actual footage is fake. Okay, so check out Bob Lazar Decoded, and it's something that will stick in your mind whenever you trying to understand Bob Lazar's story. And there is a lot of points in there that are important if you're a truth seeker as far as UFO goes, right? Because, I mean, what's the point of looking at fake videos and will just waste your time, right? So that's why it's important to kind of find any kind of evidence or anything that can back it up, any kind of clue. All of those things are important because, I mean, you don't want to be looking at something that is fake, because that's just waste of time, So so again, we have to be careful with the footage on YouTube. 3/4 of those footage, if not more, is obviously fake, and whatever it's left, it's up for debate, and even that, it's difficult to question if it's true or not. So some examples of that kind of software, as I mentioned to you, are responsible for this kind of problem, and especially if somebody from that kind of industry, in that kind of profession, wants to make a fake UFO video, they can easily do so. And you understand that, anybody that's worked on District 9, you can see how much more complicated that is. And making a simple video that shows an orb or something like that, how simple that actually is to do. Jumping from something like that all the way down to something so simple like that is not hard to recreate. So, and also something to keep in mind if you ever see videos, I'll give you an example of what you might be looking at if you see a footage, and the actual footage will give you some clues that they use the software, because some software has, artifacts, or it gives it away that they're using actual particular software in this fake UFO videos, or whatever videos that might be. For instance, a program such as Eddie that came around the same time as Soft Image, and Soft Image, like I said, it's called XSI now, but at that time, I believe it was part of Soft Image. But however, what Eddie was capable of doing is basically removing the actual person or an object in video right out. You could just erase it, but the background somehow would still be there. However, it did have artifacts which tells you that they were using Eddie. So if you ever see a video that they say it was a ghost, they claim it was a ghost or something strange in that video, and you'll notice that the actual spot where that particular image or object or person was, it's actually blurred out. Okay, so I see many of that footage going on the internet right now that is just so noticeable that it was created with the program such as Eddie, and when, like, again, if you see a footage with blurred out spot wherever that ghost or whatever that person or whatever it might be on that footage, if it's blurred out, it's blurry around that spot, around that area, and they're gonna blame it on ghosts or whatever. You have to remember they're using a software called Eddie, and that software is very old actually. I think Eddie was around year 2000, and even I believe it's way older than that actually. But again, it can do such effect that can actually remove something right out of the footage. But again, it leaves an artifact that you can tell it's Eddie. So, and I see a lot of that again on YouTube, and that's how you can tell the footage is fake. Most likely fake. Again, it's the technology that's basically blurring the lines. Well, it's the people who uses it, and and for whatever reasons, such as getting views, or just to challenge people to see if they can make videos that other people will believe, but mostly for the views, and that's where the truth of UFOs gets lost, and it's getting tarnished with all this fake footage, UFO footage. And that's what I pretty much wanted to talk about today, and just something to keep in mind if you are someone who's interested in UFOs. Like I said, I've seen UFOs with my own eyes as far as orbs go, okay, and nothing so drastic like Bob Lazar seen, or anything that's of a shape of a UFO, but I've seen orbs, and like I said, I will leave the link below for you to see what this footage actually looks like of orbs, and I think it's authentic because it happened to me, and I can tell the difference between similarities between that the footage from Western Massachusetts and what happened to me. If you're interested, you can go to blogtornado.com, and you can see my article in UFO section regarding UFO orb phenomena, and I explain a little bit about what happened. Like I said, this whole channel is dedicated, if you're still watching this video, just wanted to let you know that this channel is dedicated to hunt the truth as far as UFO goes, and I will hopefully, if I can get some links that that lead to some really serious UFO footage that that could be authentic, I would like to keep a record of that, and I will talk more about it once I find footage that kind of I think it's authentic personally, and whatever you might think of that. But like I said, I'm speaking from experience as far as orbs go, not UFOs like as in vehicles. And I see some kind of pattern here that I might want to talk about next time, and what you should look for if you've never seen an orb before. But like I said, see it for yourself in this Massachusetts video. It will show you exactly what the UFO orbs look like, and I really believe it's authentic. But why I choose this video is because it also shows a message in there that says something from orbs, and to me it's a very important message. Because it could be, like I said, I think it's authentic, and so if this is message from extraterrestrials, then we need to take it more seriously, And like I said, this is not my video. I have nothing to do with it, but I chose it because for that reason, it has a lot of similarities that you can read about it in my blog about what I experienced, and this kind of lines up with that story. So and that's pretty much I like to talk about. So again, watch out for that, that you're not looking at the fake UFO footage. Again, technology is responsible, and I explained to you what kind of tracking software and what gives it away. So and that's pretty much all. If you're interested, if you're in the show, I will be releasing more videos pretty much on a daily basis if I can. So to keep up with it, you can subscribe here at the bottom right corner, and if you like, you can give it a thumbs up, that would be much appreciated. And I do appreciate you staying all the way up until this point if you're watching this video all the way through, okay? And I really appreciate it. So I am aware of what's going on here, okay? So thanks a lot, and I will talk to you next time. Peace out. Thank you.